And we're back to FJ Props today. It's been going now for over a year, really growing and doing super well. Come on in. Of course, their business revolves around propellers. Look at these big propellers, propellers galore everywhere. Look at that one. That was a one that really had a problem. So we're gonna take a look at the reef aquarium. The zoanthids, they decided they didn't want them as much, so they started putting some stony corals in there. There's a torch inside of here. These clownfish are just really incredible. These storm clowns, I mean, they sit in front of the magnifier, which is super cool. You get a close-up look at them, but they're doing fantastic. There's been some changes to the aquarium through time. I mean, the fish have gotten really healthy, super big. Look at the size of these green chromis. Let's look at these clowns here. They're laying eggs still in the aquarium. Scolemias are still doing well. Several of the corals are growing. The forest fire digi. This eagle-eye chalice over here has grown and expanded significantly. Changed some lighting underneath it. So they added some blue lighting underneath. Right here, you can see the blue LED makes it a little bit different of a look. So there's some lighting underneath. So it took a little bit of time, but the auto feed system is in. It took a while to get the stainless steel again, this polished stainless steel and the nice starboard attached to it because we wanted to keep the same exact look. Also, another thing that's transpired through time is a new dedicated circuit to a generator that runs for the aquarium. So the aquarium now has backup power in case we lost power. It was Raphael's idea, I think, to put this beautiful little wine cooler here. Super nice. We've got the reef nutrition feeds in there connected, so you got this clear view window, and that's connected to the dose system, and some of our monitoring here for the Neptune as well. But this feed system is just patent, really awesome, man. Just feeding automatically. It makes it so easy. We got it set at 32 degrees, so it's super cold and keeps the food nice and fresh at all times. So these heads are going off and feeding the fish and feeding the corals on a 4 times a day basis. Just a great example of putting on an automated feed systems and how beneficial that is for any reef aquarium. See, look how great that clown is. That is really something special. But they're really growing in. I think I see one of the baby snails, 2 of the baby snails. So the snails are breeding in the aquarium. Yeah, here they are. So these are baby Zebratrochus right there. There's 1, 2 right there. There's another one back on this wall. And they're basically reproducing in the system. It's one of these fascinating things you find out. Here's another one right here, little guy. And if you look up and down that wall, you'll find them. They're not Astriotectas, they're the Zebratrochus. And in the big reef, you typically don't see them out in the daytime. A lot of times they come out at night, but there's a Zebratrochus snail shell down there on the bottom, right there. And they're normally hiding in the daylight hours, but they look really spectacular. I don't see as many babies in here, but I know they're in this one too. Here's a couple of them, really close up. But that's really a cool thing with the reef aquarium. You're gonna get an evolution of different things growing and overgrowing over time. Of all the fish in this aquarium, I'm going to tell you that pair of clowns is my favorite, for sure. Those are ORA clowns, and boy, are they super happy. People look at those, they come in and they're like, wow, look at those guys. There's a really nice bounce mushroom back in here that's doing really well too. See the bubbles on it? And they put a piece of the green slimer acro in on this side, so they're gonna start growing more stonies over here. Star polyps are just growing like a weed. And you can see how things are really working well. All this great DELTEC filtration, protein skimmer, and the CRTT 1500, the fleece filter over on that side. And you know, you look at this from when we first put it together, really last year to where we are now, it's just some tremendous growth. So the aquarium has been running, I just looked and verified that on my photos, for exactly 13 months. You see the feeders going off again. Here's one of the dry feeders, very interesting. How those feeders actuate and make some noise when they go off. You know they're going off. And look at the fish feeding now. They look really happy with a bunch of food going in. But super important to have auto feeders on your reef aquarium. Really helps keep the fish satiated, and you don't have to get involved in doing that every single time. It's nice for you to feed the fish too, but really really with our clients, we like to auto feed the aquarium. It makes it a lot easier. This side's growing in really well. You can see how great the coralline algae growing in the rack there with the frags from the main reef. And it's just been a really great educational tool here for people that come visit. They make a lot of noise in this place. Have you ever seen the backside of the FJ props? You want to go and see what they do? So it's a prop shop, that's right. Props, more props, propellers, and all these propellers are for boats. But they do a lot of super cool stuff here. They've got all of the machinery to work on the props. And it's a real machine shop is really what it is. You got these overhead lifts with a really big one, but they work on some monstrous propellers. You see this guy's got one spinning on there. They're checking the balancing out on the propellers. Some more big props here. So they got to tune them and they got to get the right pitch and polish them down nice and clean. The big amount of work. Look at the size of those propellers. Some big propellers right there. Frank and Jimmy's, awesome place. Remember to like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.